So what's good, homies? It's your man, Dr. BOA. You know, we've been talking about this Will Smith thing for a minute, and the last thing we talked about was his admission that he had some thoughts of maybe ending it all. And now in his new book, he's come out with the reasons for it all. And I've been telling you, man, for the longest, it's got to be a tough pill to know that you're the opposite of what your woman is truly attracted to. Now, recently, in an excerpt from his book, Will admitted that Jada's relationship with Pac did a number on him. Because he knew that Jada was into thug life, and he would never be that. Now, he believes that Jada and Pac were never intimate. Perhaps they weren't. To me, it appears to be one of those, we're friends, we tried it, one of us didn't want it, but we have that in our history, and that way we'll always be tied because, we really like one another, and we also have that crossing that line. Because I've had that experience in my life where, there's a woman we were just cool, and we were super cool. We just got along well. No, we did, cross that line and be intimate maybe once, maybe twice, but that was it. Nothing was ever going to come of it because we were just too cool to try to be together in a relationship. There were things that we were able to be involved in that probably wouldn't work for two people in a relationship. So I'm telling you what I know. And now, if I wanted to be in a relationship with her or either one of those chicks, yeah, I could have done that. Probably could do it now if I wanted to. But this is the type of scenario that Will and Pac remind me of.
We met at Baltimore School of the Arts. It was the first day, and he came over to me and introduced himself. And in high school, Pac was a little funny looking. Definitely, from looking at him, wasn't necessarily like the type of cat that I would even like deal with, But as soon as he approached me, he was like a magnet. It was like once you paid attention to him, he kind of sucked you in. And we hit it off from that moment on. He would tell me all the time, Jada, you're going to be a star. You know what I mean? I'm like, Pac, come on. He's like, you're going to be a star. You got it. You just got it. I don't think either one of us really thought that we would have made it in the way that we did. But we knew we were going to do something. He was one of my best friends.
It's really difficult.
He was like a brother. And sorry. He was it was beyond friendship for us, as far as just, it's really difficult to explain because the type of relationship we had, you only get that once in a lifetime. So he was like a brother, father figure to me. Very protective, and we took really good care of each other. The best that we could. But we gave each other a lot. The type of relationship we had, you only get that once in a lifetime. So he was like a brother, father figure to me. Very protective, and we took really good care of each other. The best that we could. But we gave each other a lot.
Now, I'm going to read a little excerpt from this thing, man. And shout out to College Kid. He's the first one that I saw post this, at College Kid on IG, man. Y'all go follow that channel while you're over there. Go ahead and follow BOA. Matter of fact, you follow BOA first. Book _of _Alpha Running. It'll also be in the description. Now, Will Smith admits to being jealous of Jada Pinkett's childhood friend Tupac in his new book. Though they were never intimate, their love for each other is legendary. They defined ride or die, he writes in the book. In the beginning of our relationship, my mind was tortured by their connection. He was Pac, and I was just me. Now, I want y'all to understand, when it comes to sales and reach, Will was ahead of Pac. You understand? I recall Will won a Grammy for his album Home Base, man. He and Jazzy Jeff and the rappers were boycotting the Grammys, and Will won and still boycotted with the guys. So that showed heart. I mean, he had heart enough to know where his priorities needed to lie, but when it came to what his woman wanted, well, the woman he wanted, she didn't want him. Will Smith continues, Pac was like Harry, that's Smith's younger brother. He triggered the perception of myself as a coward. I hated that I wasn't what he was in the world, and I suffered a raging jealousy. I wanted Jada to look at me like that. So he spent his entire life, his entire younger relationship with his woman, wishing that she had those thug life eyes for him. See, what he's admitting now in this book, and this is probably why earlier he said, man, he thought about just taking himself out, because he has to admit, when you write an autobiography, you have to admit some things to yourself. When I'm having consultations with guys, I tell those guys, they say, man, I didn't think of that, man. I hadn't thought of that. I say, yeah, you thought of it, you just hadn't said it. When you say it out loud, it sounds different to you. Because when you say it out loud, I can repeat it to you and make sure you heard what you said and how ludicrous it is. And this is what Will is going through right now. He's having to face the fact that he knew from the beginning that this woman didn't want him. He wasn't her type. This isn't what she wanted to be connected to. He knew his woman had a spirit connection to another man. Now, let me tell you something. That spirit connection has to be capped with some intimacy at some point. Trust me on that. He goes on to admit he felt a twisted kind of victory when she spent more time with him than Pac. Now, it is a twisted kind of victory because I can guarantee you, if she had the option to spend more time with Pac, she would always choose Pac over Will. I can guarantee you that. Pac got busy. Pac got with Death Row and things changed. It wasn't the same me against the world Pac. He was all eyes on me Pac. He was hit him up Pac. Different guy altogether, who didn't want to be hanging with his little childhood friend Jada, man, because he was Pac on Death Row. He was the man. He had access to whatever he wanted to have access to. Death Row had a reputation. He was in a situation he hadn't been in before. Well, he was Pac, and he had money and muscle behind him. If she chose me over Pac, there was no way I could be a coward, Will Smith says. So he validated himself by the broad choosing him over Thug Life. See, he knew he wasn't Thug Life, but he felt like if the woman wanted Thug Life and chose him, that meant he wasn't a coward. See, he was young, and he didn't know that he was the beta male provider. He was the safe zone. He was the man that a woman falls back on when she can't have the object of her desire. I've dealt with women like that all my life, man. They want to be with me, but they can't be with me, so they end up with somebody else, but they still be trying to get with me on the slide. I'm telling you, man, it goes on for years. A woman will pop up 10 years later, trying to get with you. 12 years later, trying to get with you. Been with a dude 10, 12 years, man, and still trying to get with you. It never stops. That woman's desire for the object of her desire never wanes. It never changes. And you got to think about it. This man is dead. This man has been dead for years, decades. This woman is still caught up on that energy. And now at her age, she's starting to feel the frustration of being with Will all of this time as opposed to finding another Thug Life cat. But here's the thing about it. A Thug Life cat don't want a woman like Jada. You ain't never seen no cat from the hood, no cat that's really about having a very beautiful woman on his team that had a woman that's built up like Jada. I done seen two men in the industry, women that's built up like Jada. Will Smith and Diddy with Cassie. I've never seen any of, man, these other dudes don't want nothing like that. Of course, you got the little new chicks out right now, but I'm talking about a man who is in a situation where he is notable, he has some fame and notoriety. Man, men who are in a position like that, man, they normally don't pick women like her. So she didn't have a whole lot of options, and the one option she did have didn't want her like that.
I have rarely felt more validated. I was in a room with Tupac on multiple occasions, but I never spoke to him. The way Jada loved Pac rendered me incapable of being friends with him. I was too immature.
In other words, I was too jealous. I was young. I was jealous. But if Pac said, nah, you'd still be jealous. It never goes anywhere. When you know that your woman desires another man and you've decided to go ahead and marry her anyway and be with her anyway on a deep relationship like that, man, you just got to keep in mind that you are bitten off more than you can chew. Things will never be right in your mind. Things will never be right in reality. You got to understand that when your woman has a desire for another man, she will never have that same desire for you. A woman only has that desire, that deep felt, heart-wrenching desire, that attachment, that spiritual connection, that pair bonding. She only has that to one man. Pac is Jada's imprint. And for that to take place, trust me, Pac has touched her at least once. She could never be attached to Will. She could never be drawn to Will. She could never be fully assigned to Will as a complete woman, as a complete being, because the man that she belongs to died and took a piece of her with him. Jada is not whole. Pac would have always had a part of her. But at least if he was alive, she would still be able to connect with it. That woman is going through a thing because she is missing a piece of her and has been for almost 30 years. And Will has had half a woman while he's been giving his entire self to her. Let this be a cautionary tale to you men. If you know you are not her type, you cannot make her your wife. If she wants a thug and you're a square, you better put the deuces in the air because you can't take her nowhere. Y'all comment down below and let me know what you think about this topic, man. I look forward to hearing what you men have to say. I'm out.
Trying to become the most alpha version of you. Trying to become the most alpha version of you. Striving to become the most alpha version of you. Fighting to become the most alpha version of you. Welcome to the alphasphere. Get money division. The place where you transform into a man on a mission.